Welcome to the Waiting List podcast. Tell us a story.
It's like many things you start building from scratch.
And then I'm like, wait, I really do like watches because
you've seen so many watches that makes you excited.
Yeah, I think I really do like watches.
Yeah. I think it's a great way to see if you are a watch enthusiast. Right, guys, welcome back to the Waiting List podcast. Finally, we get to interview Lung, right? So, as your friend, I do have to say thank you for deciding to take this on.
You're welcome.
Because I know you had reservations doing it.
Yeah.
I want you to know I understand those reservations, but hopefully people out there will actually know you a bit better.
All right.
Like after this. Right, so let's get into it. I think most people who are listening probably do know you as like Lung Thun or through your Instagram. You know, with a name like that, do you mind sharing like where you were born?
Yeah. So let's start off with where I'm from, right? So dad is Chinese Malaysian, mom is Taiwanese, but born and grew up in Singapore. So it's actually you were or your family? I was born in Singapore.
Okay.
It's actually a Mandarin name. So it's actually he tang de tang.
Yeah.
Like soup, literal translation, like soup.
Yeah.
And then rong rong,
yeah.
which is like, well, there's several.
Finance.
Yeah, finance or like harmony.
So you're a soup of finance and harmony.
So sounds
quite nice.
Yeah, I just call myself soup finance.
Soup finance.
Yeah.
Right. So you were born in
Singapore. Yeah.
So, but you're Malaysian, is that right?
Yes, because you usually go by the dad's passport.
Okay.
Yeah.
So did you spend time in Malaysia?
Never.
Never, right.
Never, yeah.
So which part of Malaysia were we talking about?
Sabah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for the people who don't know what that is,
Yeah.
like whereabouts is it? What is it like?
It's known for tourism, actually. So it's known for two things. It's known for having this mountain called Kota Kinabalu, which a lot of people in Southeast Asia go to hike. And then it's just beautiful beaches. So It's not very developed.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's a huge reason why my family decided Singapore was like the base for me to grow up.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then did you spend all of your formative years in Singapore or did you move around?
Yes. The original plan was to eventually go back to Taipei or Taiwan. But just the education system in Singapore was really good. So they thought, okay, you get a good mix of English and Mandarin. So they decided to stay in Singapore.
Okay.
Yeah.
So your whole family was in Singapore?
Yes.
Okay. And occasionally you might go back to Taiwan?
Yeah. So it was every summer.
Okay. But
to try and like understand my culture, which to me is still quite a blur. Yeah.
Right. Oh, really?
Yeah. Because
so you're not really in touch with that Taiwanese culture yet?
Yeah.
Or?
It's like when people talk about how the conflict between China and Taiwan.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't feel a lot for Taiwan being independent.
Okay.
I'm more because I have no strong affiliation with the country.
No, yeah. So
for me, it's just whatever helps the economy, whatever helps the general standard of living
and the future.
I'm all for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I know you also studied in England, right?
Yeah. So I went to England after high school.
Yeah.
Yeah. I went to Coventry.
Yeah.
So there's a university there called Warwick University.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Warwick sounds so much better than Coventry.
It does.
Actually, it's Coventry, right?
But that's the thing. I love to say Coventry to get because they have Coventry University. So I usually start off with I went to Coventry to see their reaction. Okay. Like, whoa.
But you did actually stay in Coventry, did you?
I did because you know what? That first week where when you have orientation, right? Usually you go there and you suss out the town and there's a good side and a bad side.
Yeah.
I just thought, well, the university is based in Coventry, so wouldn't everyone stay in Coventry? That must be the more developed side. But actually, it was the other side called Earlston.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I ended up staying where all the chavs were staying. And then I found myself a really nice apartment, right? Thinking, wow, it's a studio apartment. It's nice. It's brand new. Then I found out through Googling, right, that I was staying on the street that was the second most dangerous street in the whole of London, Coventry area.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I was like, nah, it looks fine, right? Until one day I was walking to school and then I saw someone getting robbed at night.
What an experience.
Yeah. And I was like, whoa, yeah, it's real.
Oh
Yeah.
my God. But you still stayed there?
Yeah, I did. So then I would, you know how the sun sets around 4, 5,
Yeah.
during winter, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I would just skip everything and go home. But as long as the sun was setting, I was like, I gotta go home first.
Right, okay.
Yeah,
Good, sensible.
yeah,
You know, do hear some stories. So, but you're now based in Hong Kong.
yes.
Okay. And
yeah.
how did that come by and what do you do in Hong Kong?
I'm running a securities brokerage. I moved here about how long has it been? 2006. At the end of 2016, started setting it up, but that took about a year because then I have to take all the exams to get the license. So I was flying back between Singapore and Hong Kong, taking those exams. So that took a year. So 2017, I was full time staying here. So it's been about 3 years now.
So let's talk about your childhood, because it sounds, well, you are very multicultural and you touched on an issue a point, which is you're not maybe in touch with your Taiwan side and actually you're Malaysian, but you grew up in Singapore and then you studied in England, right?
Yeah.
So what was your childhood like? Was it a lot of like away from family time or lots of traveling? Well, just tell me what it's like.
I actually always start up, like when people ask me where I'm from, I always say I'm Malaysian, but it's not because I feel strongest towards like being like Malaysian, right? But it's actually because Malaysia's the equivalent of, I'm trying to think of a really good comparison, but Malaysia's less developed than Singapore. So Singaporean people tend to be more proud and they want to get rid of that association with Malaysia.
Yeah.
Because of this, a lot of people will look at Malaysia and think it's very backwards. So generally, because people are somewhat ashamed of being from Malaysia, that's why I always start off like, I'm Malaysian.
So a bit like fuck you kind of thing.
Fuck you. Even though I know nothing about the country. Okay, so Singapore, my life, very sheltered. Back then, you couldn't go to a local school in Singapore if you didn't have a Singaporean passport. So I was always in international school. And when you're in international school there, which I think is probably very similar to Hong Kong and maybe even Shanghai and other places in the world, you get a good mix of people. And most of the students, it's usually like the dad's on the expat package and they come to Singapore to work for 5 years, 10 years. Yeah. So you have a lot of friends that come and go.
Yeah, that's right.
And you have
3 years, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, max 5 years.
So every time you think you made a good friend, they're probably going to leave. Yeah.
So you had like very fragile friendships with a lot
very
of people,
fragile,
because you're one of those people that actually stay for the whole hog, right? You're the minority.
So I was that one batch that watched the whole school like renovate, transform, expand everything. It's a very sheltered life. So all I could remember was just very happy going to school, but then at the same time having that kind of like Asian background, I had to do swimming lessons, piano lessons, ballet, tennis, golf. And every Friday to me, when everyone started to get like 16, everyone started going clubbing, going out for drinks, I had to go play golf every Friday night.
Okay.
And all I could remember was how do I finish these 18 holes faster? How can I hit like further so I can just finish this thing?
Yeah.
And that was all I was thinking about. And I was just feeling really frustrated. And I felt like I was very lost.
When you say you're sheltered, it doesn't actually sound that much different to my childhood with the stuff you're saying you're doing, right?
Yeah.
Like my schedule was packed ridiculously.
Yeah.
So which part are you saying is sheltered? What makes you use that word?
Okay, I think I only realized this in my first year of uni, because when in your first year of uni, that's the first time I had friends from Singapore. So meeting Singaporean local people in my university and realizing everyone's on a scholarship except from me. Everyone speaks differently with an accent. And going clubbing when I turned 18. So going into a club and seeing, oh my God, this is how Singaporean people are. Like, it's so different, right? And then understanding that not everybody just like understanding that people had to work at 16, and just seeing like I know
the whole bus thing. Remember?
It sounds ridiculous. So it sounds funny because you're like, how are you not seeing these people walking around you, whatever? But my life is literally, you get dropped off in school, you hang out with all these people that never talk about money, but never seem to have a problem with money, right? In fact, it was almost embarrassing to be rich because everyone was rich to some extent. So it would be embarrassing to wear branded stuff. It would be embarrassing to
highlight that even more.
Highlight that. So everyone tried to be simple. So everybody wanted to be like, hey, we can sit by the roadside. That was cool. We can learn to take the bus. That was cool.
Yeah.
And then meeting Singaporean local people and seeing, wait, it's the other way around for them. They actually care about wealth. They think it's cool to be rich.
Yeah.
That was really mind-blowing for me.
Alex, did you go to private school or anything like that? Okay, so I kind of understand what she's talking about, right? So I went to private all the way through, except at when I was 13, I took a stint in grammar school. So I always think like, why did I go out? You know, why did I go out into this state school system, right? And why, you know, my dad was like, you know, you should go private school.
Yeah.
But the thing is because he saw I was getting sheltered.
Yeah.
And he was like, fuck, you know, he knows nothing. That's what's really going on. And another thing is private school in England is quite classist and elitist. So back then China wasn't really like growing. Yeah. So he was like, one day you're going to come back, and you're actually going to feel like you're English and you're a bit ashamed to be Chinese. Yeah. And I want to take that out of you, right? So I just stuck you down into a thing, and I want you to catch the bus. I want you to live like that for 6 years. And then when I was 18, he put me back into the private school. But it was like, it's one of the best things he did, because I had that shock like about 6 years earlier than you did. Yeah. So I was on the bus, and I was thinking, what the hell is this? Like what? And then you realize that other people have probably bigger problems than you. Yeah. And you just don't live in the same kind of system. But then you also at the same time realize that there's some things that you can't say, you can't do for the fear of being prejudged. Because you actually, when you're at that age, well, I was like 12, right? Yeah. So you're going into a teen, you just want to have a group of friends. Yeah,
you just want to fit in.
Yeah, you just want to totally fit in, right? Yeah. So you adjust what you say, but sometimes like a little bit slips out, right? And then you like think, and then it gets around the school, and then you're like, fuck.
So you're trying to adapt to the social norm. But I think it's quite tricky.
It's not comfortable.
No, I think for Lung Thun it's tricky because you're from so many different cultures. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, relatively speaking, experiencing everything. Yeah. I think you probably have trouble finding where you actually belong. Yeah. I have that issue sometimes.
I totally have that issue. I've already come to accept, I don't belong anywhere. Yeah. I was brought up in England. I don't really resonate with that culture because I would say I'm 80% Chinese inside. Mm-hmm. Then I come to Hong Kong. You know Hong Kongers, right? If you're not literally Hong Kong, they're like, you're not Hong Konger, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm obviously not. I've never really liked being in mainland China. This is like the first time in 6 years. I'll tell you something, I'm happiest in mainland China because the people accept me more in mainland China. And that's because they have a big country mentality, right? So they have lots of provinces like Beijing, Shanghai, Guangzhou, Wenzhou, Dongbei, right? Henan, and all these places, right? They all have their subcultures, right? So their own characteristics. And when they saw me, they just thought, oh, you're Chinese. Yeah, but you're actually they're slightly different. You know what I mean? Like you're just in England. Like to them, it's just another province. But actually, your bones, your blood, you're actually Chinese. It wasn't like Hong Kongers where it's like, Hong Kongers probably a bit like Singaporeans. Yeah. Like really kind of sometimes stuck up,
island mentality. Yeah.
Because I kind of have the similar issue to Daniel. Because, I've been in Hong Kong for 8 years now. And the people that are local here, they look at me and they talk to me and they say, oh, this Guaylo, how do you eat like chicken feet? It's like, mate, I've been eating chicken feet in the UK since I was like 5 years old.
There's a lot of stereotypes, a lot of prejudging. Yeah. So, food plays a really big part in your life.
It does,
right? Yeah. With all we're talking about not belonging anywhere, I'm sure like family, and your dad's quite successful. Yeah. There's probably like not much family time, right?
Yeah, except dinners. Like not family dinners. Like my mom was a very bad cook. So it became like a norm to go for dinners every like Tuesday and Thursday. But I remember the Thursday ones for some reason. And then so to me, even though it wasn't fun because as a kid you don't want to eat this stuff, right?
You don't appreciate.
Yeah, it's just a ritual. Like you just
remember.
remember.
Taking my time up.
You just remember it as a ritual that you have to go and eat this stuff, and it's stuff that I don't want to eat, and then you feel pressure, but at the same time, you just kind of just want that feeling of being around family. So I think even now when I think about the way I eat, which I find it's very emotional, like my eating habits, right?
It is.
It's a lot to do with how I associate food with like family time and being around people I care about.
Yeah, I can totally see that. When I see you eat, there is a kind of state you go into that I can see is pure enjoyment. And then obviously I know you have your certain comfort eating habits, right? Which is totally based around
every night.
Every night you fill your tummy up as much as you can before you go to sleep, right? Yeah. that's I guess a lot of people don't know that, right? But back to like the intro that I gave you. Obviously I mentioned that you had reservations about doing this podcast. Do you mind sharing what those reservations were?
I actually thought about this because I thought, what's the big deal, right? Because I'm actually quite an honest person, but you just got to ask me the question directly. I would literally give you a very honest answer. And a lot of people who first meet me, they think that I'm either stuck up, very reserved because I'm quiet, or just live in my own little world. Like just, I would almost say, what is that word? When you're kind of just nonchalant. Yeah, like detached, right? But then friendly, right? But then just can't break down that wall to get close to me. But it's not because I don't want to share. It's just that no one's asking questions, right? I'm not somebody that's just going to talk about myself like all the time. If you ask me, I would just share.
So what you're saying is you're not kind of those girls that love talking about yourself. But if you ask, you will say. Will. But a lot of people are probably too concerned about themselves.
Yeah. And the thing is, my reservation mainly comes from my persona online is very different from how I am offline, right?
Yep, 100%.
I choose to only spend my time with an X amount of people that I genuinely invest my time and energy into, who I call friends. And then everything else online, it's to me, it's not real, right? Because the moment I switch off this Instagram account, that's it. I don't really care.
Yeah, no, you don't. Yeah. You're liking, you're commenting, but you're actually like, you always tell me these are free, so I just do it. But then it's a persona. Yeah, the same as any persona on online.
Yeah.
But when you were growing up, right? Yeah. You know, I think one of the things we talked about is, you know, I was like, if I do this interview, I'm just gonna come across like, you know, rich family, you know, look to these magazines and this is how I got into watches, right? Yeah. I've got no story. I've got no story like all the other people that we've interviewed, right?
Yeah.
To some extent, I understand those points that I just said, right? But actually, it doesn't quite. You're not the only person to live like that. Number one. But how come you're like so deep into watches, for example? You know what I mean? Because other girls would have done the same thing, but you're into watches.
God, I actually, I think it's there's two things, right? One is just general interest, liking something by chance. I like things that I understand require a lot of thought and knowledge and workmanship and history, right? A lot of like sweat and energy has been put into this. This is one thing, right? But I think on a deeper level, like for me, I actually express this. Like I deliberately express the fact that I like watches because I feel like I've spent too many years in my life trying to fit into society, trying to be a certain type of girl, trying to be validated for having nice shoes, bags, and all this. But now I'm kind of like, it doesn't really matter if I have no friends. I like what I like. The people that like me will want to come into my life. People that don't like me will just slowly drift away. It's fine.
I think that's a very powerful message that a lot of not just girls, like people can take on board, you know, and actually just live your life, right? Yeah. Without trying to fit in. Yeah. But it actually goes on to my next question really well, which is because you kind of just want to live your life, right? Yeah. I've noticed that you don't put the typical mindset of putting pressure on yourself to have children, married, and a lot of girls like say the same thing, like, oh, you know, I'm not bothered, but actually when I talk to them, I'm pretty sure they are bothered about it and they don't really mean it. Yeah. But you actually practice it
Yeah.
Right. So what do you think girls who put so much pressure on themselves to follow this pathway, do you have any advice for them?
Okay, if you this is my theory, right? If you look at Buddhism, right? Like they say that you're born alone on earth, you die alone. Actually everything you're actually existing as like one entity. You're you and yourself, right? So everything all the decisions I make in life, right? I always think okay, let's say you have children, right? Yeah, I understand that children are the most important thing in life, and then you're growing the next generation, and there's endless benefits to having children, right? But how does that add value to you alone as a person, right? And then two, the moment that I realized, like I try and think about how come girls can't be as successful as guys, right? And no matter how much you think about it, when you drill down to the ultimate reason, it's because they're limiting themselves. They're limiting themselves because from a very young age, just even when you look at cartoons, the girl is weak. It's a princess like lying in bed, waiting for the guy to save her. So she spends her whole life living life like that, like basically packaging herself to get married. After you get married, then it's a rush to have kids. But if you just remove all that, you go, okay, no guy's coming to help me, right? I got to survive on my own. Then you realize it's limitless. Every decision you make is actually going to help you grow. And then there is potential for you to be better than a guy. So why are you
So what you're saying is remove those stereotypical shackles that girls, people have, and then you just go and live and see actually that there is no like walls, barriers.
My mom has parented me to actually think like has limited me in some sense, right?
Yeah, we spoke about that before.
So for me, it's actually being honest with yourself, having these very painful conversations and understanding that, hey, you are actually not going to listen to your parents, right? You're going to defy that. They're going to be disappointed, but this is how you're going to change your life.
Was there anything that like started that? Anything that made you think like that? And then how long did it take for you to come to that decision of realizing that this was a problem and then actually?
I think I can even tell you 2012, right? I felt like that was the breaking point for me. Long story short, right? I experienced in my life spending money to the point that I felt like I never had to look at a price tag. Sitting there and feeling really empty and crying, right? And having like every material thing around me that I had wanted since I was a kid and thinking, so I made a mental note and I said to myself, this is what it will feel like if you had just married a rich guy. Because you never have to look at a price tag. You can buy everything. But then the only difference is it will be on a grander scale because you'll be living in a bigger house, nicer car, bigger things, right? Nicer things. So I told myself, okay, now you've experienced it. You can tick that box off your list and you know that doesn't work for you. So what else do you want in life? So at least I know money's not the ultimate goal for me, right? Then I can now go down, like drill deeper and then understand, okay, I got to go fix my relationships with everyone in my life. So then that started with family, right? I mean, it's always a work in progress. But the biggest turning point between me and my mom is having a conversation where I could finally see why she parented me the way she did. It wasn't her fault. It was because of my grandma, right? Her mom's mom and then her mom's mom's mom. And then you can totally see why parenting is like everything. And I just wanted to break that cycle. Yeah.
We always talk about that, right?
Yeah.
Like how childhood is and how you're basically brought up actually then determines a lot to do with like what happens in your life.
Yeah.
But thank you for being so candid and honest. That couldn't have been easy for you.
Yeah.
I feel a bit guilty asking that question.
I like it because there's probably to be fair, I really appreciate what Lung Thun did there because I know for a fact there's a lot of people in a similar position to you and would not dare to come out and be honest about it. Yeah. And the fact that you brought it up, I mean, wow, I've got like shivers all over.
Right. That was I'm a bit emotional.
Yeah.
That's a bit touching for me.
I mean, like, okay, in this,
I know all of this story, but I didn't know if you were going to say it.
No, but the thing is, right? Like most people that you meet, like if we had this conversation today with someone else, instantly you can see they're very defensive because nobody wants to go and fix the shit in their life, the painful stuff, right? Nobody's going to be like, oh man, my parents suck or whatever. They don't suck. They just parented you wrong.
Yeah.
right?
Different perspective,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Seems like a lot of pain there. But
Yeah.
so still on the topic of coming from a privileged background, right? Alex has just touched on it. There's a lot of people that don't admit to a lot of things. One thing I want to talk about is you asked me and Alex the same question, right?
Yeah.
You come from this small town or whatever
Yeah.
in England, yeah. And where did you get your drive and ambition? But I'll flip that back to you. You had everything. You have everything. You don't need to, work.
Yeah.
We all know that. Where'd you get your drive and ambition?
I think I broke this down to you like two nights ago, right? So there's two things for me. Like ambition is different from drive.
Yeah.
Ambition is saying, I want to be rich.
That's
I want
actually
this.
my
I
next
want
question.
that. Yeah. So ambition for me was easy because I was surrounded by this stuff. So I saw it and I liked it, right? But then I've also thought, could I live without this stuff? Yes, I can live without it. But do I like it? Yeah, I like it. So just have no shame in that. I love beautiful things. So that's ambition, right? Drive is actually executing and making yourself work to get to that place. Drive is very difficult for me. Because I understand it's difficult for me, I need to be very, very disciplined in planning out my days and exercising like a muscle. Like in my mind, discipline and drive and everything is a muscle. You have to train it. So even from working out, right? It's not even like, should I work out? It's just like brushing your teeth. Yeah, the more you hate it, the more you just got to do it. And I always think, if you just consistently do stuff that nobody wants to do, right? Over time, it adds up. And then one day you walk out and you're like, oh my God, I'm exceptional. Like
I'm stronger.
Yeah, I'm better than the average person because all I've been doing is just like 30 minutes extra of something nobody wanted to do. Yeah.
My take on that is a little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of agree with your drive and ambition being slightly different.
Mm-hmm.
But I believe it's actually not something which you can categorize into, okay, I'm going to discipline my life like this.
Yeah.
Because then I think it's actually a mindset change. I think everything you approach and everything you do, because some things come into your life despite you planning, and it's how you react to it. So I think there's that line which says like life is about like 90% of how you react to life or something like that. Yeah. So if you carry that mindset of I'm going to do it, I'm going to try, whatever, go out of my comfort zone on lots of things, you realize that there's so many things that you could do and you just didn't give you a chance to do it. So I actually think it's a mindset change. I don't think it's so well disciplined. However, I do see for someone like you who might struggle with that drive, why as a first step, you need to do that to give you then the confidence and platform to do more.
Yeah, or maybe I just haven't found my passion in life, right? But because of this, I also choose selectively to surround myself with people who are very driven. Yeah. Because if you do, you are the average of like the 5 people around you, they say, right?
I
believe that. So if you, let's say I'm around Alex every,
Why are you doing in this room?
It's like if
That's a joke before anybody kills me.
Just in the short period of like hanging out with Alex, right? I'll definitely reflect on myself. Like I got to wake up even earlier. Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
You don't have to. It's all about productivity. Let's have it for me.
But let's be honest, Alex takes it to ridiculous levels. Extreme levels. I don't know how sustainable it is over the long term, but you'll want to be those people that when they get to a certain age, you're going to look older.
Doesn't matter, man. I would have got where I wanted to be.
Right. Anyway, back to Lung Lung.
Yeah.
When you look around, and we kind of touched with this on the girls looking at magazines at home and getting influenced and stuff like this. Yeah. A lot of the things that girls are into, for me as a man, when I see it, it's got handbags, jewelry, beauty, all this kind of stuff. Yeah. It's very aesthetic driven, right? But watches and cars, they do have that aesthetic side, but they have a very deep other side to them, which is like the engineering and then the history of the brand design, everything like that, right? Do you think that's the main difference? Like, is that a fair comment to make?
No, I think a lot of girls are going to be pissed.
Yeah?
Because they're going to hear this and be like, you don't know how much stitching, like hand stitching goes into this bag, blah, blah, blah. no matter how you spin the story, right? The way I see it is at the end of the day, girls need validation from guys for their looks. It's just the way people are wired, right?
But didn't you tell me it's like girls need validation from other girls?
And other girls. Everything's about being validated. And
Right.
if you just ignore that, like take that out of your system, right? You no longer will see the world the same way. I honestly think that. If you never, okay, let's just even talk about guys. If you can get rid of needing guys to validate how you look, you would suddenly wake up and be like, oh my God, my life is amazing. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
But in the
Yeah.
social norm, isn't the whole point of, because you're trying to, I don't know, attract a mate, because it's kind of going really deep into this topic now.
Biologically, yes, I agree that there is that.
Because in the animal kingdom,
Yeah.
they all do that. So like, you know, the
Yeah.
lionesses kind
Yeah.
of prepare themselves to be more attractive.
Yeah.
You know, then, you know, different birds sing different
Yeah,
tunes to kind
yeah.
of attract different mates. I think this is our version of doing so.
Well, I get what Lung Lung's saying, yeah.
Right.
I think we all still need validation.
Yeah.
But the way it's done, yeah, is actually... okay, I'm talking about
Yeah.
me and Lung Lung here,
Yeah.
is not attractive, right? It's
Yeah.
actually... You've done it too early, and it's on points that aren't, for us, resonate with us, right?
Yeah. If you
Does that
get
make sense?
validated by, if you sit down with someone really ugly, yeah, and then I'm talking about a girl. You sit down with a very ugly girl, and then you're talking, and then she surprises you in every single way for being just exceptionally smart, right? That will blow you away, right? Way beyond than just aesthetics and looks and everything.
Well, I think when we get to a certain age, you know, I talk about confidence. I think a confidence is like one of the most attractive things, actually, right?
Yeah.
And we wear these things to give ourselves confidence. But the key is, if I take all of this stuff away from you, yeah, can you still own the room? Can you still own, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's confidence, right? And that's what I think really attractiveness.
You're supposed to sell us that whole, like, it's your smile, it's your teeth.
Exactly. You're the dentist.
Well, yeah, that helps as well. Yeah, that helps. But, you know.
No, I just find like there's
Yeah.
people who are, you know, who have this certain air of elegance and charm, and it's
Yeah.
not about how much possessions they have, but
Yeah.
when they carry themselves with so much charisma,
Yeah.
actually that is the most attractive thing.
Yeah.
Class always shines through.
Class
Yeah.
always shines through.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. So, how did you develop your taste in watches with, to be honest, very few reference points? Since, you know, many ladies, they do have a lot of pieces, right? They do have, you know, a lot of girls buy a lot of
Yeah,
pieces, but
yeah.
they don't necessarily have such a clear direction as you.
I think they, okay, so comparing with other girls, I think girls generally buy and look at watches as an accessory, so like a jewelry piece. So you need a variety to match things, right? Whereas I'm going by materials I like, which is like gold. And then making everything else work around.
Why did you say like materials? Because that's like plural.
Okay. Yeah, because I still want to get rose gold and steel. No, but I'm going by precious metals, actually, because I want to say I'm going by a complication or whatever, but I'm not, because I still want a lot of things. I still want minute repeaters. I still want world times and whatever, right? So right now it is going by precious metals.
Okay.
Yeah.
But how did you get such a clear direction in your actual collection? Do you know what I mean? It's not random.
Well, you know the story. I've actually gone through the first phase of collecting and gone through all the hype pieces, right? So that's out of my system.
What Lung means is she did actually do a shit ton of Daytonas.
Yeah.
She did a shit ton
Yeah.
of RMs
Yeah.
as well. You know.
MBNF even.
Yeah.
So then I already know what it feels like. Do I need that piece? What does it feel like? Is that
Which MBNF did you get again?
It was the 8, Asian 8. The one that's like a frog. Is that 8?
No, that's not 8.
That's not 8.
It's 3.
That's 3. Yeah,
Yeah.
So 2 eyes and then thingy.
Yeah.
And it was black. Moon face. Yeah. So now when I look at watches, it's like starting from scratch. It's almost like, okay, I just renovated my house. What's the first piece of furniture I want to put inside? So I never want to mess it up. I need it to be very clear why I'm adding this piece into the house instead of just crowding the whole house and messing it up. Yeah.
But how did you know you had messed up the house though?
Previously, because I look at it and I can't even tell it's me. Like if I looked at the box of watches, it doesn't even feel like it's mine because I'm just hoarding.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it takes discipline then.
It takes discipline, and I think if someone can open the box and be like, oh my god, this is Lung's collection, or even with shoes, right? I think that's having a particular type of style.
Okay.
Right?
So what advice would you give to ladies who want to get into this hobby? And what barriers do you think they face in doing so?
Okay, so advice is stick to your taste, even if the whole world's like, that's the wrong piece to buy, that's not a smart choice, that doesn't look good on you. Just buy what you want to buy. At least you can walk out, wear it, and then you don't sound like an idiot when someone asks you, why did you buy this piece, right? You can explain it, and then people will respect you for even sticking, like having an opinion.
Yeah.
And then barriers is, I think budget is a huge thing, right? Because they have to weigh, okay, again, I'm making an assumption that weighing between bags, shoes, jewelry. So then you have to budget how much do you want to put on into this watch, right?
Yeah, because it takes away from something else.
Yeah, it takes away from something else.
Yeah.
It's easier for me in the sense that I don't even care about bags, right? So I'll buy it like a utility piece. I'll be like, I'm missing this color, just buy this. I have the rainbow done, right?
It's a collection.
Yeah, it's a collection. And then, so when you dress, it's easy, it's quick, right? But if you, as a girl, if you're done with your bags, you're done with your shoes, then all your money can go to watches, right?
The thing is, though, there's a shit ton of bags and a shit ton of shoes out there that girls never feel like they have enough.
Yeah.
But don't bags have seasons? So like every 3 months.
Yeah, so you just ignore it. You actually, so if you think of it like grocery shopping, right? Or like you're buying a toolkit to build a house. You're like, I have a hammer, I have a screwdriver. You never need to buy another one. You have a nude shoe, you have a black shoe, you're done, right?
Yeah. But I guess it goes back to that validation of her and the latest thing, right? For girls.
Yeah.
But your favorite brands or the watches you collect have you got a strong Langer there theme there, and AP as well. Yeah. So how did you end up with these two brands being your favorite brands?
Okay. So AP, yeah. I want to be like, oh, I've moved on from AP, but I really haven't, right?
Yeah.
I love AP. I like the Royal Oak, to be exact, right? The fact that it's a bit masculine looking, it's sporty looking, but you can still pull it off as a very feminine piece just by changing the size. And then there's a lot of history behind it. I know I'm buying the modern pieces, but at least there's history that can be traced back.
Don't you?
Yeah. But not old enough, in my opinion. Like I want super old, right?
Okay.
But it can be traced back. You can understand how the shape has evolved, the size, everything.
Right.
So that's my thing with AP. And the fact that you still keep a bit of the traditional element, which is the shape, but then you are pushing the limit by changing materials, right? Okay, so that's AP. And then with Alange, to me, it's more a reflection of me diving deeper, understanding movement, understanding this is the best of what you can get in terms of movement.
Movement, finishing and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
I always think about it. It's like if I was to buy a leather shoe for a guy, it will be going to the shop to buy the best leather shoe.
Yeah.
Come and find me. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And
like, if I need handbags, I want to find you. If you need shoes, just find me.
Yeah. Find out.
Hopefully we never have to go to them and say which handbag.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I would. You're lucky in that position, but I'm sure I would. I mean,
right. Obviously, with both of these brands, especially with AP, you are a VIP at that brand. And I think a lot of maybe listeners that collect these things, they don't actually know what a VIP is at a brand or VVIP or whatever. Yeah. What does the brand do for you? Do you know what I mean? When you actually reach that kind of level, because people just, don't want to put down people, but like people collect more entry level watches. They're probably not VIP, right? So they're probably like fascinated. What actually happens?
Okay, I don't think I'm a VIP, by the way, but I think
she is a VIP. No, she's not a VIP. She's a VVIP.
No, but I think that AP treats me really well, and because they treat me really well, right, in the sense that I actually feel that if I was genuine about getting a piece, that they would actually hear me say that, hey, she really wants this piece. Let's try and give her one, right? For that, I will actually try my best to direct only the right kind of customers their way.
Okay, and what's that right kind of customer? What's the right kind of customer?
So I think I've explained this to you. It's the same as Nike shoes. I don't want to see every single Tom, Dick, and Harry wearing a Nike shoe because it tarnishes the brand. It dilutes what they're looking for, like the branding, right? So I don't care how much money someone has. I will actually think, does this watch look good on this person? Is this person a good representation of AP? If they're not, I'm not doing that to the brand because they respect me. So why would I go and fuck them over, right? No. Yeah. So I would just actually say, no, you can try and go to AP House yourself.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
I agree with Long because actually I had a lot of people that don't have I will use that word class or style or character.
Yeah.
And they come to me and say, I want this particular AP because they know it's just for, markup prices, yeah? And I just look at him and I say to him, I can't help you, just full stop. I don't even want to bother,
Okay.
Yeah.
It's right. I agree with Lung Thun.
Well, when I get one, I guess I'm going to pull that brand down.
No, you'll be fine. No, don't be silly.
But what other kind of things does the brand do for you?
I think the thing, okay, so for
you go to dinners, you've met Francois, right? You've been to the manufacturer.
Yeah, I think meeting the people inside helps because you can ask yourself, do I want to support a brand and this person's vision, right?
Yep.
Honestly, if I didn't feel like I felt any connection with the management, then I probably wouldn't be so invested in the brand.
It's true.
Yeah.
Once you get to a certain level, that actually matters, right?
Yeah.
Don't you think?
I mentioned this about MBNF, right? With Max, like because I believe in his philosophy, even if somebody tells me, hey, this is overpriced, I will still buy it. And I know I might be paying too much, but because I believe their philosophy, I'll support them.
Okay.
Yeah.
What changes would you like to see from the consumer side from the brands? It could be general, it could be to ladies. It's up to you, really. Open question.
Okay. On the most basic level, I think you should have prototypes for people to try in the store. Just so that they understand that feeling and can decide for themselves whether they actually want to go through that whole process of being on the waiting list, right? Instead of just dreaming about it. And then when you actually see it, you might be disappointed. So have prototypes. 2, I think I want to say educate, but then I realize that's not really going to work because their end goal is to sell watches.
Mm-hmm.
They don't really care if you're educated, right? And then really actually producing enough for people to buy, right? I'm not concerned.
But don't you think that will affect this exclusivity?
It will.
What you said, right?
It will. But as in, you produce enough to give it to the right people. Of course, this is so hard that I wouldn't even know how to do it, right? But in my mind, I'm imagining somebody that's worked a good 3 to 5 years in their first job. They have saved up. They want their first 15,500, right? And they've been visiting the store nonstop. And they've been telling them, this is the one watch I want to wear for the next 5 to 10 years of my life. I want to give it to that person. That person works so hard. They saved up and they really will wear it every day and wear it well, right?
Now they know that secret. They're just going to keep asking you, I want to wear this for the next 5, 10 years is the secret
Yeah,
spiel.
but then you got to go and wait 3 years.
Yeah. Do you think like the same marketing strategies work for ladies as they do for men? Do you think they need to adjust that, like cater for ladies in a different way?
I think generally the marketing now is confusing, right? Because all these people on the poster, like that day when I heard that advert about the flagging down the taxi, one, I was like, I didn't even see that ad. But 2, why is
flagging down the taxi?
Like wearing an AP flagging down a taxi? And I was like, what is the relevance? And then someone said the taxi was going from New York to Geneva. That's even more confusing for me.
I still don't get it.
I don't get it. There was some ad like this person in New
You're
York.
talking about AP, though.
Yeah, I'm talking about AP, right?
Just rewatch the ad.
Yeah, so
I've heard something like that. I don't know. You explaining it to me, and I still don't get what it is about.
I think Patek's like advertising with the whole like passing down the watches to the next generation, that works because it's relevant to everyone. Everyone has a family, right?
Yeah.
I think the other ones, which are just way too abstract, that doesn't work because it doesn't resonate with anyone. At least with the sporting events like Rolex, with the tennis player, you're like, hey, I play tennis. That kind of resonates.
Well, Rolex is all about success.
Yeah.
So if you look at Rolex, they don't like to back people that like, it's all about, they do the whole event.
Yeah.
They don't necessarily back certain individuals. Those brand ambassadors that come there, I don't even think they might be paid by Rolex. Yeah, I don't think they're paid. Yeah. They're invited. And then if you want to, then you get to do it. But I mean, let's say you are a brand ambassador for Rolex, yeah. It's no brainer, man. You're going to get a crap ton of other business anyway, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because that brand is so strong.
But to be concise, right? Women, when they look at ads, they're more sensitive than men, right? Men might look at something aspirational and they might be triple the size of the guy on TV, but then they can still imagine themselves being successful one day. They can dream a lot of things and they're imaginative. Women are very sensitive in the sense that if they do not recognize themselves in that ad, it doesn't really rub off. So if you look at Dove, like body shower,
it has to be closer.
Yeah, it needs
relevance.
to be closer. So Dove uses different sizes of women, different color. Then the person buying the shower gel will be like, oh, I see her on TV. So if you're marketing the woman, you should probably use a wider range of people.
So more diverse.
Yeah,
so it
more
resonates
diverse.
with different types of consumer bases.
Yeah.
And probably less of these like unattainable KOL styles.
Yeah, yeah.
And more real, basically. Yeah. Okay, right. Right, my last question, and finish this interview, is what is success to you? What is your dream?
I actually believe in leaving a legacy. And I don't mean leaving a legacy like having my name on the building. I really don't need that. I think that given the life I've had, which I think I'm very lucky to have, right? The best gift I can do is nurture the next generation. So it means like educating, say, a girl, like mentoring someone. That girl's going to mentor the next person. She's going to mentor the next person. And that has like domino effect. And that's legacy for me, right?
So
that's
basically
success.
saying you want to make a difference to the world.
Yeah.
But not necessarily, you don't need the
I don't need
fame or
I don't need the fame and
recognition.
And it doesn't need to be on a big scale, but it's just whatever I can do, even on a small scale, touching someone, changing someone's life. I want to do that. Yeah.
Okay, that's fantastic. That's a good way to end the interview.
Thank you.
But not before the quick fire.
Oh.
Right. It's not too bad. Right, we have a mutual friend who lives his life through quotes.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
6 a.m. club guy.
Yeah. What would your quote for life be?
Quote for life. This is my motto. It sounds lame, but be too good to be ignored.
There's a book on that.
Is there?
Yeah, there is.
Yeah.
Trust you to know that, Alex.
Yeah, I actually really believe in that.
You,
say that one more time for everybody.
Be too good to be ignored.
Okay.
So good they can't ignore you. The book.
Yeah.
Okay. Right.
Red and black cover.
Tell us something we don't know about you.
Something they don't know about me.
No, we don't know about you. Yeah.
God.
What's your favorite
it's
color?
hard. It's hard. That's always a hard question for everybody.
Yeah, it's hard. Like I read every night, but you guys probably know that.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
See if it comes to you.
Okay,
right?
I'll think about it.
Most unattractive thing a guy can do.
Talk about how much money they have.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Most attractive thing a guy can do.
Not talk about how much money they have.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Best brand gift you've been given.
Oh my God.
Something food related, I'm assuming.
Oh my God, that's really tough. Okay, I'll just say the one I use the most. I use the AP candle the most because it's useful, but it's not. It's really hard for me.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
What kind of brand gifts have you got?
Like small things like pens, keychains, scarves. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, nothing. To be honest, nothing I think's like that amazing.
Yeah.
Right.
They should probably be more original. They should probably customize something for.
Well, I actually like the Langer box, the moon box, which I can change into a watch box.
I want something that I can use every day.
We can use that. You put the watches in there.
Like if I had, for example, right, like, say you actually understood your customer and you're like, hey, she runs a lot. And you gave me something like even a towel that had my name on it, like an AP towel.
Personalized.
Yeah. So you understand the person.
That is a good idea.
Right?
I like that.
So like
great.
Alex
and you'd
reads
actually take it out as well, right?
Yeah. If hey, Alex reads a lot, give him a bookmark or give him something that's actually personalized. Of course, that person's going to be
that's
like,
a good idea.
Yeah.
That's actually my favorite gift was a book.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, I'm not surprised though.
Yeah.
Right. Most awkward date you've had?
Person was reminding me what a privilege it was for him to be sitting in front of me.
Long,
how
long.
lucky I was.
It's a privilege for me to be sitting next to you. It's like,
No,
Say
as
that
in,
again.
it was my
was a privilege
privilege
for you.
for me to
So
be.
how did he make you feel privileged?
He didn't. So I was like, "You're right. Thank you for taking out your time and energy to see me."
Oh, I think I
No,
know.
I don't think I know. I think you said this to me once before.
Yeah, it was bad.
Do you know him? Do I,
Maybe.
all right,
Maybe.
Okay. Interesting.
Right. Would you rather sleep with a cockroach in your bed
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
never have omakase sushi ever again?
Never have omakase sushi. That's easy. Oh my god.
Most difficult thing you've done in life?
Most difficult thing. Leaving. Honestly, like cutting a bunch of friends out in my life. That was the most difficult thing. Yeah.
Okay. How recent was that?
6 years ago.
Okay.
Cut a bunch of people out.
How did you do that?
Bye-bye.
No. I mean, did you just
was
like did you
nice
tell
to
them,
know
or
you.
did you just like?
No, slowly drifted away, and slowly stopped coming out. Stop
Okay.
meeting them. Yeah.
Right. The worst DM you have received?
I think the one that I reacted most recently, I was mad because that person was like, basically, do you want to buy followers? And I was like, no, thank you. Even with
Oh,
a
that
smiley
one. Yeah,
face.
yeah,
And then
yeah.
it was like, all right, good luck with your fake followers and all this. And I was just like, oh my God, I so totally did not ask for your opinion. Like, you're just mad because I'm not paying you.
Right, and on that note,
Yeah.
that finishes the interview with you. Hopefully, we
Yeah.
can have you on again.
Thank
right?
you.
I
And
enjoyed that one.
just-
Thanks,
Thank you,
guys.
Long
Yeah,
Long.
just
Yeah.
thanks so much, Long Long, for doing that.
Thanks.
All right, see you
heartwarming.
guys on the next one. Bye.
See you soon.
Thank you for tuning in to the Waiting List podcast. Hit the subscribe button, and the next episode will come straight to your phone as soon as it's ready. Whilst I'm here, please remember to leave a nice review and follow us on Instagram at the Waiting List podcast.